Namaste children.
Namaste, sir.
Dear children, in today's political science class, we shall discuss and interact on an important topic titled Confronting Marginalization. I will repeat, Confronting Marginalization. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Very good. Children, what is the meaning of confronting marginalization? You have already understood the meaning of marginalization. Marginalization refers to social exclusion or social disadvantage and relegation of some groups of people to the sides or fringes, and they will not be in the center stage or mainstream in this society. So, this is the meaning of marginalization. Here in this topic, there is a word called confronting marginalization. Let us try to understand what is the meaning of confronting. I will answer. Listen to me carefully. Confronting means face to face with someone with hostile or argumentative intent. Normally, if you are not happy with a decision, maybe at home, maybe in the school, maybe with your friends, you should not keep quiet. You must confront. Confront means face to face argument. You have to argue out. If you don't say anything, then you will become part of the decision taken by someone else. Therefore, we say, if someone is rude to you, you should not keep quiet. You must confront them. Understand? Confronting means, once again I will tell you, face to face discussion with the person or persons to make your point of view clear. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Very good, children. Children, in your previous chapter, you have read about two different groups of people with their experiences of inequality and discrimination. Even though these two groups of people, who are they? They are Adivasis and minorities. Even though they were powerless, still they fought for their rights and they never wanted to be discriminated. And it is a very long history of these groups of people. And they adopted several strategies to make them clear that they are fighting for a kind of justice. The strategies they adopted was religious solace. Solace means comfort. Then armed struggle, self-improvement, education, and economic upliftment of marginalized group of people. Because these strategies they did not use at a time. As and when the circumstances demanded, they used, so that their inequality and discrimination should go. In this chapter, you will read about the ways in which group of people or individuals challenge the existing inequalities. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Take for example, Adivasis, Dalits, minority group, women and other marginalized groups argue that being a citizen of a democratic country, they enjoy equal rights and it must be respected. Children, many among them look up to Constitution to address their concerns and grievances. You understand?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Very good, children. In this chapter, you will see why the Constitution of India is something that marginalized groups invoke in the course of their struggle. As part of this, we will look at how rights are translated into laws to protect groups from continued exploitation, and we will also look at the government efforts to formulate policies to promote the access of these groups to development. Children, these marginalized groups should also develop, because our Constitution gives equal respect to every citizen of our country. Therefore, they should also develop. Now, let us try to understand what is the meaning of invoking fundamental rights. What do you mean by invoking? Invoking means appealing, requesting. Let us try to understand the meaning of invoking fundamental rights. Children, I will ask some questions to all of you. As per our Constitution, how many fundamental rights are there?
Sir, can I answer?
Please.
Sir, there are 6 fundamental rights.
Very good. Correct answer given by Neha Sharma. Very happy. Now, let us understand what are these 6 fundamental rights.
Sir, I will say the answer. Sir, right to equality and right to freedom.
Very good.
Sir, I will answer.
Hmm.
Sir, right against exploitation and right to freedom of religion.
Correct.
Sir, can I? Sir, cultural and educational rights.
Correct answer.
Sir, I'll say
Hmm.
right to constitutional remedies.
Okay. So these are the 6 fundamental rights. We must make use of these fundamental rights to stand up and demand things that have not been given to you. So, Constitution comes to our safeguard. You understand?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Children, you have already studied about fundamental rights in the chapter 1 of this book. That is the reason why you all have answered correctly. Constitution lays down the principles that make our society and polity democratic. The entire Constitution is based on democratic principles. Children, these fundamental rights, 6 fundamental rights, are equally available to every citizen of India. What does it mean? It is applicable to everyone. There is nothing like only this group should enjoy, that group should enjoy, like that. It is for everyone. As far as marginalized are concerned, they have drawn on these rights, that is fundamental rights, in 2 ways. First, by insisting on their fundamental rights, they have forced the government to recognize the injustice done to them. Second, they have insisted that the government enforce these laws. In some instances, the struggle of the marginalized have influenced the government to frame new laws in keeping with the spirit of fundamental rights. Now, let me explain what are those laws. Article 17, it came into being in the year 1950. Article 17 says untouchability has been abolished in India. What does it mean? Nobody can interfere with Dalits if they are ready to get their education. You cannot interfere in that. They are also human beings. They must get good education. And also, they can enter temples. They can go to any place of their choice. Because they are also human beings. They are also Indians. But this type of untouchability should not be there. That is the reason why Article 17 of our Constitution is very, very important. Children, it also means that it is wrong to practice untouchability. No democratic government can appreciate that. Nobody should practice untouchability. And if anyone practices, it is a crime and they will be punished as per the law of the land. The caste system has created havoc in our country. Even today this is going on. Only through education we can set right this. Because education is an omnipotent instrument, all powerful. Omnipotent means all powerful instrument through which we can bring desirable behavioral changes. You understand, children?
Yes, sir.
Very good. The term Dalit, which means broken, is used deliberately and actively by groups to highlight the centuries of discrimination they have experienced within the caste system. That is the reason why I am appealing and telling caste system should go. We must not recognize any person on the basis of the caste. We are all human beings. There is no meaning for untouchability at all. There is a beautiful poem on untouchability, how untouchability should go, should not be accepted, because all are human beings. All must get an equal chance. Article 15 of the Constitution, which came into being in 1949, there should be no discrimination on any person on the basis of their caste or religion, place of birth. All these things are having no meaning. All are equal. That should be our principle. All students, right from this young age, you must learn all these things so that when you grow up, you can tell others also. Thereby what happens? The concept of untouchability or not respecting others will all vanish and all of us will be very happy. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Children, that is the reason why we say Dalits can invoke or draw on a fundamental right or rights in situation where they feel that they have been treated badly by some individuals or community or even by the governments. Therefore, Dalits have drawn attention of the government of India to the Constitution, demanding that the government abide by it and do justice to them. Likewise, other minority groups have drawn on the fundamental rights of our Constitution. They have particularly drawn upon the right to freedom of religion and cultural and educational rights. In the case of cultural and educational rights, distinct cultural and religious groups like the Muslims and the Parsis have the right to be the guardians of the content of their culture, as well as the right to make decisions on how best this content is to be preserved. Thus, by granting different forms of cultural rights, the Constitution tries to ensure cultural justice to such groups. The Constitution does this so that the culture of these groups is not dominated nor wiped out by the culture of the so-called majority community. You understand this?
Yes, sir.
Constitution comes to our rescue. Nobody can violate the fundamental rights. Children, now I would like to briefly explain the concept of untouchability with the help of this poem. The poem below is written by Swaira Bai, wife of the well-known Bhakti poet Chokha Mela, from the 14th century, from Maharashtra. They belong to Mahar caste, which was at that time considered as untouchable. Here is the poem. Listen to me carefully. A body is unclean, they say. Only the soul is untainted. But the impurity of the body is born within the body. By which ritual does the body become pure? Sairabai is questioning this. Not a creature has been born except in a bloody womb. This is the glory of God. Defilement, that means pollution. Defilement exists within. The body is polluted from within. Be sure of it, says the Mahari Choka. Here the meaning is Sairabai is questioning the idea of purity and arguing that since every human is born in the same manner, there is nothing that makes one body less or more pure than the other. The meaning here is, how can you say so and so is not pure, so and so is pure, like that? And she questions, every baby takes birth in the same manner, boy or girl. As a result, she says, the question of purity will come not with your work, but your thoughts, your beliefs, and your values. Therefore, as students, you should understand and improve your value system rather than just because someone else has said, you should not just follow their footprints. You must think on your own. Only when you think, you can ink better. Ink means writing. So, every school, every college, right from LKG level, you must make children to think independently. Children, let us understand laws for the marginalized. The government makes laws to protect its citizens. Yet, this is not the only way in which it takes action. There are specific laws and policies for the marginalized in our country. Example, Scheduled Castes and Scheduled Tribes Prevention of Atrocities Act of 1989. Children, let us now discuss about promoting social justice. I have a question now. You have already studied social justice. Can anyone define what is social justice?
Sir, I will answer.
Answer.
Sir, social justice means justice in terms of distribution of wealth, opportunities or privileges within a society.
Very good answer. You see, social justice is a must for democracy to survive. There is a beautiful saying, democracy and social justice are two faces of the same coin. Wherever democracy is there, social justice must be there. Wherever social justice is there, democracy is there. Justice delayed is justice denied. In the same way, if social justice is delayed, that means democracy is denied. Therefore, social justice must be provided to every citizen in our country as per our constitutional guarantee. Now, Adivasis, Dalits, they must also be given social justice. government has taken certain steps, especially in the education field. Let us try to understand what are those. As part of their effort to implement the constitution, both state and union government created specific schemes for implementation in tribal areas or in areas that have highest Dalit population. Now government provides what? Free or subsidized hostels for students of Dalit and Adivasi communities. It takes concrete steps to end inequality in the system. One such law or policy is reservation policy, and it gives seats reservation in the educational institutions. It also provides reservation to the jobs also and for the professional courses, but there is a cut-off marks as far as professional courses are concerned. That means not all Dalits cannot straight away join the professional courses. Within them, they have to score certain marks. Children, government across the country have their own list of SCs, that is Dalits, and STs, backward and most backward castes. The union government too has the list. Students applying for education institutions and those apply for various posts in government are expected to furnish proof of their caste or tribe status in the format of caste and tribe certificates. They will check, then they can avail of the benefits of the reservation. Now in your book they have given this chart. Just I will read out what it is. List of schemes. What is this scheme about? How do you think it will help promote social justice? Here they have mentioned under list of schemes, scholarships for students, then special police stations. You know why special police stations? Because if there is any injustice done in any education institutions, or if any group is doing any crime on SC, ST, Adivasi children, they can approach police station and give complaint against such persons who create problems for them. And then special scheme for girls in government schools. There is a need for giving special benefits, especially to the girls in government schools as far as these groups are concerned. Children, I have a question. Why you think reservations are needed for Dalits and Adivasis children? Will it really meet their demands? Children, now I would like to explain certain things about the great poet Kabir. Kabir's poetry. What does Kabir talks about? Children, you might have read Kabir's poems in your regular language textbooks. Kabir, He was a 15th century poet. He was a weaver and belonged to Bhakti tradition. Kabir's poetry spoke about his love for Supreme Being, free from rituals and priests. His poetry expresses his sharp and pointed criticism of those he saw as powerful. Kabir attacked those who attempted to define individuals on the basis of their religious and caste identities. In his view, every person has the ability to reach highest level of spiritual salvation and deep knowledge within themselves through their own experience. His poetry brings out the powerful idea of the equality of all human beings and their labor. Kabir writes about valuing the work of the ordinary potter, the weaver, and the woman carrying water pot. Labor that in his poetry becomes the basis of understanding the entire universe. His direct, courageous challenge inspired many, and even today, Kabir poetry is sung and appreciated by Dalits, marginalized groups, and those critical of social hierarchies in Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Punjab, Madhya Pradesh, Bengal, and Gujarat. Now, why I am giving example of Kabir is he was against caste. On the other hand, he used to say equality is very important thing. All are equal. Unnecessarily do not create walls between and among the people, telling that I am great, you are less great, something like that. All are equal. He is a 15th century poet. And Soira Bhai, she was a 14th century poetess. These two examples, Soira Bhai and Kabir's poetry, if you understand, you definitely feel that we have been harassing these Dalits and Adivasis since centuries, which is really very bad. Children, we shall discuss now about protecting the rights of Dalits and Adivasis. In addition to policies, our country also has specific laws that guard against the discrimination and exploitation of marginalized communities. I am going to explain about a case study adapted from a real life account to understand how Dalits use the protection that laws provide. Children, this is the case study. The villagers of Jakmalgur are gearing up to celebrate the village festival. Once in 5 years, this festival is organized, and during the festival, the local deity means god or goddesses, the local deity will be worshipped and honored. How they celebrate this festival? Now listen to me further. For this festival, 20 priests from the neighboring villages comes. The event begins like this. A Dalit community person washes the feet of all the 20 priests, and using that water, the Dalit person has to take bath. In that village, there is a family called Ratnam family. That is also a Dalit community. So, people from that community are doing this work of washing the feet of the priests, taking that water for bathing, and this used to continue for several years. Ratnam's father, grandfather, everyone has done this. And none of the Dalits were allowed to enter the temple. So he was very, very unhappy. And now it is the turn of Ratnam. Ratnam, 20-year-old boy, studying engineering in a local college. He refused to do this ritual of washing the feet of priests and taking that water and then taking bath. And it angers many people, powerful caste people, and within their own community, many Dalits are also very, very unhappy. And then the people say, especially powerful caste people say, oh, because he is getting education, so that education is making him to think that they are all equal to us, something like that. Whatever it may be, he refuses. I will not do this. The powerful caste people decides to teach Ratnam and Ratnam family a lesson, and they take a decision to ostracize entire family of Ratnam from that village. And they also say nobody should talk to them, nobody should help them, nobody should do any work to them, like that. Ostracize means removing the entire family from that village, making them to vacate, go, like that. The spelling is O-S-T-R-A-C-I-S-E, ostracize. Then what happens? After some days, some people in the midnight, they come to that village and set fire to Ratnam's house. But somehow Ratnam and his mother, they escapes from that fire, and Ratnam decides to make use of the SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act of 1989. He goes to local police station and files a complaint that his house has been burnt. The local media takes up this case seriously. Several journalists, they come to that village to see his house, and this will become a very big news. And Ratnam will not keep quiet also. He contacts important persons to see that this act of 1989 is implemented properly. But the so-called Dalit community people, they are working in the fields of powerful caste people, and they are scared. If we go in support of Ratnam, that means his own community person, then they may ask us not to come for work in our fields and how to earn, how to lead a life. So there is a tug of war within the minds of the Dalits. No Dalits will go to police station because they are scared that these powerful caste people may set fire to their houses also. And after a legal battle, that ritual will be called off. That means the ritual need not be there like that. It's called off. But his entire family was asked to move out of the village. This is the case study. The meaning here is Ratnam was considered as a symbol of Dalit action. So this is in brief about this particular case study. Children, I for one, who will always support equality. I don't want any type of inequality. Our constitution guarantees our fundamental rights, safeguards us. Then why this type of inequality? We want equality. Everyone must be provided all facilities. Dalits, Adivasis, minorities, everyone must get proper treatment. And especially in democracy, democracy is meant for that. People must be active. Dr. S. Radhakrishnan says, if people are dumb, government is deaf, definitely democracy cannot take its deep roots. Democracy will not be there. Then all types of problems will be there. Therefore, people must be alert, and if there is any injustice done to any group of people, it must be condemned. Media should come to the rescue of these people and see that, equality is practiced in a meaningful way. You understand, children?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Now let us summarize what all we have learned in today's class. Would that be all right?
Yes, sir.
The struggle of the marginalized have influenced the government to frame new laws in keeping with the spirit of the fundamental rights. Article 17 of the Constitution, that untouchability has been totally abolished. No one can prevent Dalits from educating themselves. As far as Article 15 of the Constitution, no citizens can be discriminated in India, keeping in mind their religion, sex, place of birth, caste or race. As per the constitutional provisions, distinct cultural and religious groups like the Muslims and Parsis cannot be dominated nor wiped out by the culture of the majority community understood the concept of social justice. You have also understood the reservation policy related to Dalits, that is SC, scheduled tribes, backward and most backward castes. The ways and means of protecting the rights of the Dalits and Adivasis, which is the example of Ratnam case in Jakmalgur village. And here is some questions for you to answer. You have to discuss among yourselves and talk to your friends also. Prepare the answers. The first question is, what do you understand by confronting marginalization? Second question, explain in your own words the meaning of invoking fundamental rights. Third question, what does Article 17 and Article 15 talks about? Explain the story of Ratnam and is he right in seeking justice for his community with the help of SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act of 1989. Why reservation policy is important for SC/ST people? What is social justice? Explain its importance in your own words. Democracy and social justice are two faces of the same coin. Explain. Justice delayed is justice denied. Keeping this in mind, explain the importance of giving justice to marginalized in our society. So these are some of the questions which you will have to answer. I am sure you have learnt many things and also you have enjoyed learning so many points about marginalized in this class. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.